Hey there, Edivir. I know I said it wrong. How do you say that again? Oh, let me check. Is the sound okay? Can you hear me all right? Everything working okay? Hi, Apar. Hi, Mark. Mark, is the sound all right? Oh, good. You can hear? Okay, great. Okay, good, good, good. Hi, Brian. Hi, Keslowitz. How you doing? Don can get the link anytime he wants. Uh, okay. Today or this afternoon, what I thought we might do this morning, we had talked about sort of the ideal watch, the kinds of things you'd put in an ideal watch, and I thought, why don't we look at some things that we can talk about in terms of what is there that has a lot of these ideal elements that we can afford. Or when I say afford, I put it in hand grenade range. In other words, things that, yeah, you have to save a little and maybe sell a couple of watches or something like that, but you could somehow get access to. And so, what would be that watch? I mean, that you have. One I just thought of, and I always say this wrong, is the NTN, I think is the name of it. They had some for a while at a really decent price that had um, dual barrels in parallel. I don't remember a lot of the other elements about it because it's one of those brands that is they're good. I mean, a very good brand, but they're not that popular. It's sort of like Bovet. I mean, Bovet is a very good brand, but you don't see too many of them. Hi, Javi. How you doing? So anyway, so that was one brand I thought it was NTN. If I said it wrong, right? Um, Oliver. Hey, Oliver. Hey, Mark. Do you mean complication or engineering feature? Good question, Mark. What I really mean, I was looking at the what I think, for the ideal watch that I would like to wear and like to own. What would an existing one that is out there that I could afford, that would be an example of it. Now, I'm also including ones that are up on the secondary market that you can get. One I had in mind that I've liked for years, and I don't know what's wrong with me for not getting one, but I have it. And that's the Vacheron Constantin um, Quadrille. And I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just not that much into big sports watches. I have one, and I figure, well, I don't need another one. I don't know, but I mean that is a kind of watch because the movement that went into the 2016 Vacheron Constantin overseas that has the same one in it, and I've always been impressed by that movement and the watch itself. I tried one on and it really I just liked everything about it. But I there's it's like a lot of other things. There are other watches I simply like better. So anyway, so enough about the watches I like. One well, let me mention one more. I saw a chop pack, I think it's a new chop pack, and I don't know what it cost. Maybe I couldn't afford it. But they used these sort of double braced finger bridges for all of the for the wheel train, and so you can really see the wheel train and the gearing and so forth on it, the way they have it set up, and I like that a lot. So that I don't know what it costs, though, I haven't looked into it. Um, okay. Oh, the Ovale, yeah, yeah, the Parmigiani Ovale, Brian, I would love to have that watch. I mean, that would just be a super watch, but they're way, way out of my price range. That's the only problem. Now this is what I wanna look at are some watches that are within our price range. I mean, another one I like too a whole lot is the, Lang& and Hein, Georg. I love that watch, but I think it's really expensive. Be a world timer. Is a world timer. That's not a bad I have a that's something too I think I'm still looking for, one that I would like. Of all of the world timers I've seen, I think the one for lots and lots of reasons, including form of, affordability, is the, Geophysique from the this is Jaeger-LeCoultre. That one, not only does it have the world timer, it also has jumping seconds. I don't have a watch, I don't think, with jumping seconds. So that would be one, and I agree, I think it's really a great one. Same thing, with the True Second, um, that has gotta be the most plain looking watch, the True Second, but inside is just really something. The way they set up a mechanism to do a true second. It works almost like a remontoire, but it's not, something else. Okay, let's see what else you got. The Vestron Constance in 1921. They don't make them for lefties. I'm left-handed, and I have one. I still wear all of my watches on my left arm. I am, like, very left-handed. I'm just about left-footed, left-handed, left everything. Except, I wear my watches this way. I don't know. Maybe that's I guess I'm supposed to wear it over here if you're left-handed, but I like it here. I think the idea of having your watch on your offhand, so to speak, is so because if you're right-handed, you're doing more stuff with your right hand, and your left hand is not as likely to bang into it, but I like it right here. Hey, Oliver, what do you got there? When you talk Lux watches, I think you find all you like in a second market with JLCs. When it comes to cheaper watches, look at Seiko. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point. Something about I don't know. I Seiko's they technologically, and I mean by really excellent mechanical technology. They're fantastic, but somehow they just I just can't warm up to them, and they're both the Seiko and the Grand Seiko. Um, doesn't mean there's anything, wrong with them, and I know they're very popular and people love them. So, I do have the 5. I don't know if that counts or not. Hey, Sam's Dead Busters. Are Paul Pico watches good? I don't know that much about them. I think they're pretty inexpensive if they're the ones I'm thinking about, but I don't know what they put any times of movement they put in it. Parmigiani, Fleurier, Toric, Hemispheres, Retrograde. Yes, par. That watch I've loved for years. I have the original Hemispheres. But I tell you, I like the one with the retrograde so much better. I think the retrograde on that, and I'm pretty sure it is by Agonor. The I had saw that someplace, and I'm sure I could check and find out. But that retrograde, the one with the hemispheres with the retrograde, really nice. And as much as I like my hemispheres, I like that one better. Hey, James, see, being tempted by the 0% for 24 months over 5K purchase from Tano Boucher, excluding Rolex and some other models. Okay, there's that's one thing I sort of have. If I get a watch, I pay for it all at once. Now, there's somewhat of an exception. Sometimes I'll buy them on my credit card, but then since I pay my credit cards off, so I don't get hit with them, they I pay for them all at once. But over sort of time payment, I don't know. I That's a perfectly good way to do things. Sometimes you just figure, well, I'll buy it on time, and it worked out fine. Hi, Jean-Luc. How you doing? How are things in Switzerland these days? As a world timer, JLC makes a good one and very reliable. Yeah, I had an Omega, but unreadable. Didn't know I was left-handed, huh? Hobby. I am not only left-handed, I am very left-handed. How's that? Um, I can't wear my watch. I'm probably the same except on my right wrist. I used to wear my Fitbit here, but I got a rash from the strap that they have on those things, so I've just put it in my pocket and let all the Fitbit work through there. A Laric, a world timer. Boy, that's very tempting. It's really funny. For as far as the Laric is concerned, the I keep my got my now I've got my special stand that I got for it. It's sort of like a throne, a watch throne. There's my Laric. That watch is everything about a watch I like is in that. I wish the back had a smaller. Oh, let's see. I don't know how to put it. Um, I wish it had the kind of movement with the finger bridges on each one of the wheels on the wheel train, so I could see the whole thing. I'm wearing my Langenheim Frederick II as a. This is an example of a watch that has very close to everything I like about a watch, and this is because they use what's called a trigonal bridge, and just about everything is on their trigonal bridge, and as a result, you can really see sort of how everything in it sort of flows and works together. Um, the trigonal bridge isn't quite the same as having the all of those finger bridges that I like a lot too. Okay, what do you got going here? Hi, Hubertus. I would love a Patek Philippe Aquanaut from the late '90s. That I would too. I agree. That's a wonderful watch. Hey, Bruce. Reading. How are things in North Carolina? Yeah, the Torrey Parmigiani. What a watch. There's one of the real early um Parmigianis called the Ionica, I think. That I think was sort of the precursor to the Torrey. And they were always in platinum or gold, I think. And I probably passed up some opportunities to get one of those that I shouldn't have. Of course, we've all right now. There's so many watches that I think if I only got that a few years ago, that would have been the time to get it. What do you think of Bovet Sportster series? say triple calendar, what is the movement in it? I think, KH, I think that they have like an ETA movement. I'm not positive, but that's what I think on the Sportster series on Bovet. That's one of the when they came out with the 1930. This was, I think, one of their first watches that they had the Demier was making sort of was up geared up by that time and started making their own movement. But I think that the Sportster series is using uh, ETA or some modified ETA in it. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc, that this watch is one that when I got this, I got it. I think when it came out, it was I think it was really early on. It was some about this I just like, but when they first came out, I think, and I may be wrong about this, there was like not a great deal of enthusiasm for them, especially with the ones that are with the Fleurier. They have two models. One was called the Fleurier, and the other was the Demier. The Demier had the traditional sort of the typical kinds of lugs on them, as opposed to the bow and crown, and then the bar lug at the bottom of it. And I got a very good buy on this one new. A friend of mine in who knew someone, and came over from Europe. Quite a story about how it came in. Some stories you can't tell though. uh, on today's topic, Breitling Avenger Seawolf. I've gotta learn how to like Breitling. I'm still mad at Breitling and Tag Heuer and IWC for having these phony baloney names for ETA movements. I wish they hadn't have done that. And so, I mean, yeah, I know they now have their own movements and so forth, but I don't know. It just takes time to build up trust after something like that. Still 68 Fahrenheit here, and it is already 110.115. 68, isn't 68 degrees perfect weather? Sean, you got really nice weather. Let's see. A Seiko 5. I love Seiko 5, so because I have one. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Okay, what are some other watches that are your favorite? If I found a watch within my affordability range with a Remontois Galatea, that would be a watch I probably would do get a little irresponsible about. Something 20,000 and under is sort of my area, and mostly under, like under 10 is even better. Under 5 is the fun part. So, what are some other watches that have like the features you really like? Um, I One of the things, oddly enough, that I came to like even better, the I think Rolex quit making Yachtmaster 2 because it wasn't very popular among the Rolex people. Um, and to me, that's always a good sign because I'll be keeping an eye out for, if one comes along at a good price. It's not like way up on my list or anything like that, but it's still one that I think is, one of those watches that I could care less if everybody liked it or not. It's something that's got some really good horology. I like the look. I'm fine with the looks of it. I know a lot of them. I don't like that look. I don't know. I'd always feel funny wearing a Rolex. I don't know why, but I guess I shouldn't. Hey, Graham, what's up? I really fancy Kadoki K2, and the new 3 looks very interesting. Graham, I agree with that. Kadoki has really done a great job. I agree. The new one uses that triple uh, track on it. It has, and it really underneath the hood, so to speak, there's one of these 3-armed hands. It's like a second hand, but it has 3 arms on it, and each one of the hands is a different length. And so the way Kadoki did it, he took the Kadoki 1 essentially, and then he has the hands coming up to the top on the different hours, and depending on the hours, it'll go to the first, second, or third of the rows, which I thought was very clever. I really like the Kadoki too with the day-night indicator. That's another really beautifully simple watch. Oh, that's interesting, James. That there was Breitling is connected to the Kinesi building. The Kinesi building, wasn't that the one? This is that the one outside of Geneva that um, Chanel and Tudor sort of went in on together, and it's on land that's owned by Rolex. Is that the building you're talking about? And why? What would they have a connection to Breitling for, unless Breitling is contracted with Kinesi to make its movement? That's an interesting thing. That's very interesting. Hi, Rohit. How you doing? I like Ikepod for their unique design. Orage. Yeah, the Orage brand, one of those little brands that's doing some nice stuff. I read about them, and I think they have their own movement, and don't remember that much about it. I haven't paid that much attention to them, but they are an interesting one. Oh, you meant the Tudor building, James. What do they have an underground connection with a Tudor building for? I could see Tudor and Kinesi connected, but Breitling and Tudor, not sure about that. Sounds interesting though. Of course, Breitling was sold, I don't know, not too many years ago. There's just one family that owned it, and then somebody else bought it. I think it was a corporation, or they bought a big hunk of it, and I don't know what Breitling's doing. Breitling's one of those brands that I used to absolutely think is the best brand in the world. I thought Breitling and Tag Heuer were the best ones you could ever have. Now, this is back in the '80s and early '90s when I thought that, so and when I didn't know anything about watches. Let's see. Volcane Cricket. That's another one of those watches that I like a lot. They're unique, the one with the alarm and so forth. But I tell you, I'm trying to think if I've ever handled one of those. Usually, when you handle a watch, you try it on, and normally I don't do that. Most of the watches I bought, I've never tried on or anything like that. But that would be one I would really like to try on. Ones that I like, I still like them, is Laurent Perrier, and I went in and I tried them on, and it just didn't have something that I felt was important, namely the heft. The ones I tried on were made out of steel, so that could have been part of it, and they were relatively thin, but I really like the looks of Laurent Perrier watches. You know, Armin Strom and that new, Andreas Seller, yes. Those 2 would be very, very good ones, the Armin Strom and the Andreas Steller. Andreas Steller came out, here's a guy with a, like, umpteen jillion dollar for his watches. He comes out with one in 20,000. I know that doesn't sound, like bargain basement, but boy, I tell you, that wouldn't be one I mind having. By the way, too, I got an email from, Gerbella and Forcé. They've got the most unusual building. It looks like somebody had a building like that, and then it sunk into the ground, and so it sort of goes like that. But if you look at it carefully, all the floors are strange looking building. They had something, they're gonna double the capacity. Maybe they're gonna come out with a watch that, the lumpen proletariat can afford, the hoi polloi of watch collection, namely people like me. Doing Beth and Son. Doing Beth, yeah, I have a lot of respect for them. Doing Beth and Unsunda, uh, good outfit. Hey, Fat Angus, where'd you go? Hi, Robert, Tudor and Kinesi. Okay, so they have an underground. James, Kinesi and Tudor have an underground connecting tunnel. Is that it? That's interesting. That makes sense too. Hey, Rohit, I like the new JLC reversal chronograph, but they are pretty pricey. Moser Green Dragon. You know, I was thinking of earlier today is that I've had one watch brand that seems to have most of the things that I like. It would be Moser. Um, I I think I'm trying to think. I like there's the there are a lot of things to like about Moser. Some I can afford, some I can't, and some are so. I already have something that I have. I also have two of them already that I really like. So it's sort of like, well, maybe I don't want to have too many of the same thing. I think the brands for your higher level, both the Arm& Strom and the Andreas Stella, the new Andreas Stella, not the all of his other watches, Stella's watches are over $100,000, except for one, it's 50,000 something. Then he came out with the Sirna. The Sirna is the one for 20,000. I don't think that thing will. I think they're gonna sell that out so quickly, it's gonna be hard to get one. But I think that would be a watch, that would be nice to have. Really a beautiful watch too. Hi, Nicholas. Gahudi, portable CQ. Oh boy, panorama date. Hi, Nicholas. You know, Glashütte Original is a brand I've always liked. Swatch bought them, and I just cringe when I see that they have a silicone hairspring in them. I don't know. That's just me, though. Doesn't nothing against them otherwise. Kinesi's owned by Tudor. Actually, Oliver, my understanding is that Chanel owns it along with Tudor. The Chanel J12 has a beautiful kinesi movement that looks it does it has remnants of Roman Gauthier, which they also own a hunk of, a friendly share as they describe it. But they own I don't know how much of kinesi, but they own a hunk of kinesi, and they use it in their J12 for both men and women's versions of it. I don't know if they have some smaller ones they use it in or not. For parts, yeah, I know. I don't worry about that. Nomos. Nomos, yeah, Nomos, yeah, there's Nomos is an excellent brand. There's no two ways about it. As a mechanical watchmaking company, I just don't know how long I could take the Bauhaus. by That's the only thing about it. But they have some I probably could take for a long time. Oh, the Nomos World Traveler. Yes, Robert. That one I could take. Just sort of it's one of those watches. There's several watches that I like. You don't want to leave them unattended when I'm around. Let me put it that way, Robert. Urek is a unique brand. This sort of there's some brands or some models that very few people like. Um, and to me, that's in a way that's a good thing. If you like that, then that's great because then you're not, you're going to have a watch that's going to be unique in that respect. Hermes Slim GMT, yeah, there are a lot of good buys on Hermes, especially on a secondary and used market, uh, where you can get a really, really good watch for a good price. The Claw, Christian Vanderclaw. Uh, Christian Vanderclaw watches I agree, are gorgeous watches. I have one. I have the Series 72, I think is what it's called. And that's a very, very nice watch, except the moon phase is hard. I mean, what do you get a Christian Vanderclaw for except for the astronomical features, and they have this beautiful moon, the moon phase, and so forth. That's the hardest thing in the world to set. So, at least in my model, the one that APAR has is really nice. You just use a little pin pusher, and it flips the thing around. Boy, I don't know what the model I have is all about. As far as I know, Tudor owns it by now, and it's a no-go for me. Huh. Um, and Kanisi does deliver to a variety of other ones. Nomos I like, but this world travel one is a no-go. Okay. Think about it. No date. I don't care about dates either, so it would be fine with me. Just curious, did the Laric come with a warranty? Where do you send it in case of an issue or service? Good question, Scuba. One, it doesn't come with a warranty. See, this is the thing about Laric. Oops, we're out of time, but I'll tell you about Laric and warranties and so forth. Here you have a group of people. Think of this, okay? The Amish, if one of your neighbors, gets hit by lightning and it burns down the barn, the Amish community get together and they have a barn building and they build a barn. Okay, we're the same way. Larica is the same way. Bunch of us get together and we build a lot. We get the movement from Agenor. We get the case from Booten Lannon and Caton. We get the hands from Fiedler. We get this part and this part and this part. And so, in terms of a warranty, how do we give ourselves a warranty? We don't. That's sort of a funny kind of thing. I mean, some people have asked about that, and you know, I we don't have a warranty card because we are Laric, and we'd have to sort of like, well, we'll warrant it to ourselves. As far as service and things like that that come with it, we all have a very detailed diagram of all of the parts, all of the lubricating and the the thickness of the lubricant, everything you need to know to do that. And so we take it into a watchmaker, show them the chart, and say, can you service this for me? We haven't tried it yet, so that's it. That's something we haven't worked out exactly. I mean, again, think of the Amish, a bunch of Amish guys getting together, they build a barn for somebody, then they go back to their own farm. That's what we do pretty much. So anyway, guys, um thanks, Nicholas. Um okay. Let's see, the good Hermes deals. Saw your video about the dressage. That's a good deal. Thank you all for coming today, and I hope you all have a really good week, a safe week. Uh, we live in the world right now. It's so strange. Okay. Thoughts on Christian losses, Lisa? I don't know that one. I wish I could tell you. Anyway, guys, take care and hasta la vista.